Thank you guys so much for doing this interview today. Can you tell me, for the audience sake, your names?
Dan?
And Vicky Quick.
Okay. And tell me, how long have you guys been married?
13 years in July.
Okay, well, happy pre-anniversary. Tell me a little bit about your story and how you went about building your family.
We have 5 children between us. I have 2 kids from a previous marriage. He has 2 kids from a previous marriage. They're all grown and off on their own. And we thought about having one ourselves, and it wasn't meant to be, but we got a phone call that his grandson was in foster care at 6 weeks old and wanted to know if we wanted to adopt him. We didn't have to think twice. We said, of course. And through a very long process, it took about a year, and we finally got Aiden just after his first birthday. It was very challenging, because one thing that you need to know is if you're going to adopt a child, even if they're biological, you have to go through the same process as if they were not biological. Lots of work, lots of background checks, working with Virginia and California where he was. So it was trying, but it was worth the wait. And Aiden will be 11 in 2 weeks, and we've had him now, and he's been a blessing.
Yep. And then Jonathan.
Aiden, me and my husband are both in our 50s, and we were done. And he had been praying for a brother, and he kept saying, I want a brother. And we're like, yeah, that's not happening. It's not going to happen. And just for curiosity, we did look online at the local county where we're from, and it's up for adoption, but mostly they were teenagers. And so we said, it's just not going to happen. Then I was telling the story to a coworker of mine about how we thought about adopting a second one, but it's interesting. Then later, I got a text out of the blue, and she said, hey, Vicky, there's an emergency adoption. 10-year-old boy, are you interested? I didn't know anything about Jonathan. I didn't know where he was from. I didn't know his story. My first inclination was yes. I talked to Dan, and he said yes. And then we went through the process of finding out about Jonathan, his circumstances. He is from Haiti, and he was adopted. Unfortunately, that family's dad passed away at age 41 of a heart attack. So the mom had biological kids already, and just felt it was just a little too much to handle 3 boys, especially Jonathan, who has a lot of energy. So we met with her, and we did a private adoption. And on June 15th will be a year he's been in our home.
Yep, wow. That's pretty much.
Well, I guess the big question is, and I'll ask you this of you, Dan, once you went through the process and discovered he was of a different nationality, what did you think?
Didn't bother me at all. When I was growing up, I actually had some problems at home, and I was in a foster home for a little while, and I actually stayed with a black family. They treated me pretty well. I think the sibling, the son that was 2 years younger than me, he had velocity because, and I don't think it was color. It was the fact that there was another boy in the house, and the mom was feeding me and treating me well. And I think there's some jealousy there. So that had nothing to do with it. But I kind of thought that maybe people might look at us a little bit different when we're out in public. And, that's one thing that you have to be aware of. That's a possibility just in case. And I just felt really bad for Jonathan, actually, because first of all, he was in an orphanage for 5 years when the previous family adopted, and they had him 18 months. And then basically, I just couldn't imagine, here he had his forever family. And then the mom said, well, you're going over here. And I was more worried about his emotional state and how he was going to handle that. So basically my focus was just on how Jonathan was going to handle it. Yeah. So, but he's you know, he's very energetic. So is Aiden, and we're kind of used to energetic kids. And you know, they act like normal siblings. They
Yeah.
fight a lot. They get along a lot, and
Well,
that's basically.
and that's a great way to see it, because I think, you know, once you look past color and look towards the heart of the child and see what you're doing to bless that child, I mean, I think that surpasses it should surpass color at any chance. But the world being as it is, I'm sure you guys have had to deal with, I guess, commentary, questions, looks. Tell me a little bit about what you've dealt with that.
Yeah. So I'll say one time we went to we took Jonathan to the eye doctor, and we went as a family, me, Vicky, and Aiden. And a black gentleman walked up to me and he said, "God bless you." And
Wow.
you know, he didn't know what this. I guess he just took it that we adopted Jonathan. He's part of our family, and he just said, came up and said, "God bless you." There's been other times we've been out in public and I'll see people looking at us. Honestly, it seems like more black looking at us, and they may be thinking, you know, how are you with have a black child or whatever. You know, it's not mean stares or anything like that. It's just sort of a looking at us. Basically, I could feel it.
Yeah.
Is it more of a curiosity thing where they're just curious as to why you would adopt him? Or?
We have had no negative comments or anything negative at all. So I think it's just, maybe it's unusual. I don't know. You know, there are.
It's like double takes. They take a double take to see if, okay, is he just hanging out with Aiden, like just friends, or is he part of our family? When we're in the grocery store, when I take Jonathan to the grocery store and it's just him and I get a lot of those looks. Almost like, okay, where's the dad? Interracial. Jonathan is very black, so, you know, I don't know how that would work, but, you know, we do get stares of people just trying to figure out the puzzle, so to speak. And, but no, I have to say, you know, so far, nobody has made any comments, and I don't think Jonathan has felt at all uncomfortable. He does know he's different in our family. We do talk to him about that. We talk to him about what's going on in the news and in the world. There's good people, and it doesn't matter their skin color. You know, there's bad people that are color and bad people that are white. And we, you know, we're a Christian family, and our faith is what's raising Jonathan and Aiden.
Well, I want to bring up something that's kind of funny. We went to the pool during the summer, and Jonathan came over, and it was almost pool break. Right? So he wanted to go to concession stand. And I said, "Well, Jonathan, we need to find Aiden." And he goes, "Well, that's going to be impossible. Everybody here is white." So I just thought that was funny.
It is pretty funny. Well, you know, it brings up the point that everybody is conscious of color. It doesn't mean you have to treat people differently, but there's nothing wrong with being conscious of it and noticing the differences. And I think, you know, I've had other associations with people with mixed children, particularly African Americans being raised by white parents. And one of the difficulties that many of them have had, and I think you and I have talked about that, Vicky, is that, you know, just making sure they're culturally aware of who they are. Being Haitian, I would think that would be an extra, I won't call it burden, but different because he is Haitian versus an African American. But nonetheless, he's in America, so he's seen as a black person. So do you have any, I guess, difficulties making sure, I mean, because even if hair texture, that has to be one, skin color, even just going in the sun, you know, a white person might burn, a black person might burn later, you know, just things like that. Are you just thinking about what do you have to deal with as he grows, because as he gets older, you know?
Well, I personally think it takes a village to raise children. It's just not the mother and the father. It's also extended family. It's neighborhoods. It's community. I think all those people play a role, including doctors. For example, Jonathan had an ear infection. I took him to the ear doctor, and the guy is African American, and he speaks Haitian. And him and Jonathan had a wonderful conversation. And I almost wanted to, you know, we might be reaching back out to him to have somewhat of a relationship where they can communicate more on a regular basis. So And I've reached out to you as well with your sons, and I would like for him to be more involved in African American culture to understand that and understand, you know, his side and the Haitian side in America. So it's all, you know, we've had him for a year, so it's all like building up to what all the tools that we need to help raise him to be a good person in society. And that's what I tell him all the time when, you know, he's from an orphanage, so he's not used to discipline. So, you know, just right from wrong, letting him know, look, this is so that you can grow up and be a good person when you're an adult. So it's.
Yeah, but as far as his like care because of his hair and skin, I know Vicky got him some lotion and something for his hair that he puts in, some type of oil. But just like any other kid his age, you know, you just got to keep reminding him to do it. You know, it's like brush your teeth. You know, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But
and the boys go to a barber shop. With COVID, for the first time, my previous background is I was a beautician. So for the first time, I cut his hair, which was very interesting. I'd never done that before. So it was challenging. And he said, "Mom, not so bad." So he kind of was nice enough to me about how I cut it. But the guys usually, it's a day trip and they make it, you know, go to the barber shop, get their hairs cut, and they go get ice cream. And it's, you know, we kind of make it exciting that all the guys are doing haircuts. So generally we go to a barber shop for his hair. But he is very conscious about looking nice and the lotion and all that stuff. So
yeah, you know, and I have to speak, well, first of all, I say bravo to cutting his hair. Because I used to cut my son's hair and I gave it up after a while because first of all, they started getting more particular as they got older. But there are different textures in the way you cut. Of course, it's, you know, but I think that was probably an advantage you had that a lot of people wouldn't, just knowing different textures and how to handle them. But, and I'm sure, you know, there's going to be things where just be a child to a teen to whatever, they're just going to do and want differently, no matter what their color and hair texture. But what do you feel? I mean, when you go out, I thought, you know, you guys were talking about going to the store and doing so much that I'm sure people, like you said, are doing their own assessment of what the story is. And then they hear Jonathan say mom or dad. And I'm sure that's when they're like, oh, okay. But, you know, fortunately, I think because where you live, you're in a rural area. And is it mostly, would you say, predominantly white or a mixture or?
We're in a small country town.
So it's mostly white. There's a few black people here, but it's, I would say 90% white for sure. Yeah, where we live. Yeah.
But I guess the controversy that comes up sometimes is that people, if you're in a stronger mixed environment, there's going to be more questioning. Like, and I've always thought that this was odd to me. Well, not odd. I understand it. But I always felt like love trumps over color, you know, and so it doesn't matter to me because to me, anyone who would criticize it to me would have to also say, did I do my part to take somebody out of foster care? Because at the end of the day, it's not about your color. It's about that you're saving somebody from a system, because I tried that myself. And it really is a difficult thing to bring children into your home and try to, unfortunately for you, you had your other children were grown, but you already had Aiden and you had him for, I guess, 10 years at that point when you adopted Jonathan, but you had to merge their lives. I mean, Aiden, I'm sure wanted a brother, but then also was used to having a lot of things being by himself. But I'm sure you had to work on a lot of things simultaneously, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as far as the sibling part, you know, I want a brother, but now you're sharing your things with oh, wait a minute, that's mine, you know, how that goes. But as far as the color thing, I remember when I was in foster home and they went to church every Sunday. So the lady took me to church and it was a black church. I heard this other lady tell her, what are you doing with a white boy in here? You know, so it was, I don't know. I just took it as a grain of salt and just, it's like, you know, people are curious and they want to know.
Out of curiosity, so what did your foster parents say when that came up?
I didn't really hear the conversation, but I think it was sort of explaining to her. I think she explained it that I was foster care. You know, so I think that's about all I heard. So, yeah.
Well, you know, speaking to that, Dan, did you feel, even though it was a foster care situation, did you feel, because a lot of people around you were African American, and you clearly were not, did you feel a sense of being different in a bad or a good way? I mean, how were you treated, or how did you take that onto your own personal self-esteem?
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, I think the reason is because the mom of the household treated me so well. I mean, she would like, are you hungry? Eat, you know, do you want to go out? And this kind of stuff. She made me feel so welcome and treated me. And I think that was the big difference, that they went out of their way to make me feel comfortable in the environment. And for me, that was a big thing. And I grew up, you know, there were times I lived in, my mom, you know, mom and dad divorced early, and she lived in Capitol Heights, Maryland. And it was mostly black there. And so there was some tension there when I went to school. I know that. But I was used to that. You know, it wasn't anything new for me. So for me, I didn't really feel, I mean, I thought it was, yeah, okay, sorry, I'm the only white guy here, you know, that kind of thing. But I wasn't scared. I wasn't angry. I wasn't anything like that. I felt, well, it did not make me feel welcome, you know. So it was just sort of like, you know, he's different, you know, that's it. Yeah.
So that actually probably helped you in making the transition with Jonathan, because you already had their experience reversed, but you had those experiences. Whereas did you have any more difficulty yourself, Vicky, not having had that background? Or
No, you know what? I've got such a heart for kids. I mean, for me, I just, you know, I see the pain of him, like Dan said, being in an orphanage his whole life, being let go by another family. And I just felt like I wanted to surround him with as much love and comfort. And honestly, I feel like Dan and I were called to do this because we had so many signs that happened when we got the, you know, the call about, you know, would we like to adopt him? We were like 50-50, to be honest. We weren't sure if this was the right thing we should do. But when we met him for the first time with Aiden, Aiden's like, I hope he likes baseball, and Aiden wears glasses, and Jonathan showed up with glasses on, holding a baseball and a glove. Aiden came with a bat and a ball, and it was like they were almost mirrored twins, but of different color. And they both have the same energy and hyperness. So there's a lot of similarities with them, and they both they're very strong, that they have this strong outer shell. But they're very tender, and they just need a lot more love and nurturing and hugging and reassurance, on a daily assurance that life is going to be okay. And security, big thing was security. One thing with Jonathan, when we go driving around, he, you know, where are we going? When are we going to get there? Where am I at? He just, he feels like he's not in control of what's going on. So, you know, that's the whole part of being in an orphanage. I know when he came to America, there was definitely a big challenge for him, in the sense, you know, he didn't speak English. He didn't speak until he came here. So he's overcome a lot. And we have a little name for him. He's called the Survivor.
So about the kids. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say he loves superheroes, and the teacher just gave him a superhero award because he's always trying to help people out. So he's very into superheroes.
Well, that's speaking to what Vicky just said. I mean, the difference, I guess, between your two boys at this point is that one was born into your life and the other one had to adjust to your life. Right. But both were adopted. But I guess have you felt any joys, or, you know, what have those experiences been like, just to have, you know, difference between two? Both are adopted, so that makes neither one of them, quote unquote, your blood. But so they are going to come with different personalities from their parents and so forth like that. But one has actually had another set of difficulties, if you want to call it that, being in, you know, the system.
True, because Aiden was adopted earlier, younger, so we're all he knows. Whereas Jonathan finally, in his excitement, got a family from the orphanage, and then his whole life crumbled, basically, because his dad, adopted dad, died. So that's trauma right there. You know, he lost his dad, he loved him, so he died. And then the next trauma for him was that, oh, you're now going to go to another family. And that was, I thought he handled it very well as it was happening, but I think it affected him after it happened. Cell phone that wasn't working, it was an old phone, and he would say, I want to call Patrick in heaven. So he definitely dealt.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, it takes a toll on you because you absorb all of their pain. You do. You watch what they go through. You try to be strong parents, but you absorb their pain and you try to be that crutch for them. So.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
between the two.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to say it's definitely different between the two, but they have each other too, and they lean on each other a lot.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They do. Mm-hmm. Even when they get tired of mom and dad, the other day they were like, oh, we're tired of you. They got on their bikes and said they were running away. I was like, where are you going? So they just went down the street and came back, but it was so funny just watching them like, okay, we're buddies, we're together.
They
and you know, it's funny having two boys myself. I've seen that camaraderie where they bail on the parents and they just become tight themselves. So that's just being, you know, I guess sometimes, I always wanted a boy and a girl, but watching two boys, there is a camaraderie with the same sex, I think, you know, that would be a little bit different because I was raised with a brother as well. So, but I think there's a camaraderie that can sometimes be with just boys, you know, boys being boys, you know, and I love that runaway thing, right? Where you going?
Yeah, exactly.
And I know you live on a lot of land, so I know they had a little bit of a ride. So I'm not sure
they got tired.
Yeah, I love when one of mine did that. They ran away and got tired. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll see you in a couple minutes because I know you'll be right back.
It's getting dark. They'll be back home for dinner.
Exactly, right? So can you tell me some of the other, I know I've seen your posts and I've always just loved them, but can you tell me some other amazing stories of just, you know, watching them grow in love and, you know, be connected?
Well, they learn to ride bikes at the same time.
Yes.
They learn to swim at the same time. So they're sharing all this.
Right.
Yeah, so they just, they're just growing together is the way I would call it. And thank God that they, especially for Aiden, he's got his brother. And with this COVID stuff, they're used to having 2-3 recesses at school. They're used to doing a lot with interaction with their friends. And now we're locked down for months. And if it wasn't for, I know, Aiden appreciates Jonathan. And so if it wasn't for the two of them having each other, who knows? It would be probably a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Aiden has matured a lot since he got, we have Jonathan in our family because he's taken on the role of being a big brother, which he never knew what that was. So now he's like, he wants to help Jonathan do stuff, show Jonathan how to do things and be more of a leader. So we've seen a whole nother side to Aiden now that he has a brother. And Jonathan, even though he wants to be independent, he's also wanting to have more of a family time. They get excited about movie night together. We do movie nights. We go for family walks. So we try to do a lot of family stuff with the boys. It's always something new every day. I can't even think of anything offhand of,
well, the popcorn thing was funny because Aiden wants to be the big brother, wants Jonathan to come to Aiden. So Aiden would always say, Jonathan, you want popcorn? You want popcorn? Making popcorn. So one day, Jonathan says, can I make popcorn? So Vicky showed him how to make popcorn. Aiden was so upset because he didn't get to make the popcorn. Oh, I want to make popcorn for Jonathan. And so Aiden wants to be the leader, but Jonathan wants to be, independent as well. So,
yeah, you'll find that second one wants to put their own emphasis on being a big boy and so forth like that.
Right, definitely.
Well, I would love to, take time right now to meet the young men, if you would like to bring them into the picture.
Sure.
Let me get them.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
Tell me your names.
Aiden. Jonathan.
How old are you guys?
8, 10, about to be 11.
You about to be, when is your birthday, Aiden?
June 20th.
Okay, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
When is your birthday, Jonathan?
June 8, and after mine.
Oh, happy post. You just had a birthday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, happy birthday then.
Thanks.
Very good. So tell me what's the great part about having a little brother, Aiden?
He plays with me. A lot.
He plays what?
He plays with me a lot.
Someone to do stuff with, right?
Talk a little louder.
So what kind of things do you guys do when you play together?
Wrestling and Xbox.
Oh, okay. What about you, Jonathan? What's the great part about having a big brother?
Forgot he didn't play with me, and also Xbox, wrestling, and also fun stuff.
Oh, okay. And you guys live on a farm, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of fun stuff you doing on the farm?
Like
Baseball.
What about the chicken?
Yeah, I heard you guys both like baseball, right?
and also the chicken and ducks.
You have how many? How many chickens and ducks?
7 and 2 ducks because one baby chicken died.
Oh, okay. So you have how many left?
So we have 7 babies and 6 adults, right, Jonathan?
Mm-hmm.
So 13
Oh,
chickens,
wow.
13 chickens and
2 big ducks, 3 big ducks.
so 5 ducks, 13 chickens.
Oh, wow. You got a nice little poultry farm going on there.
3 dogs.
And 3 dogs. So Aiden, you are almost 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me how it been since you got your little brother into your life. Like since he came in, you were used to be just a single only child, and now you have another brother who's from another country. Tell me about that.
It's a big change. And it's pretty fun
How's it a big change?
because I used to have no one live. And I asked my mom and dad to play with me all the time, but they always said no.
Not always, you just wore us out.
So now you have somebody you can play with without having to ask, right?
Yeah.
But he's from a different country, so have you learned anything new about his country at all?
Not really.
And what about you, Jonathan? You're new to America. What about you? Have you learned anything new about America that you like?
Not really, Jim.
Oh, everything's silly. Didn't Jonathan try to teach you a few words in French?
Creole.
Creole? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like ma boule? You know what that means, ma boule? Jonathan?
You know what that means?
Jonathan?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, I only know a few Creole words, so after that I'm out.
Talk to her in your words.
What words do you know, Jonathan, from Haiti? I went to Haiti years ago.
Wait, really?
Yeah, a long time ago. You weren't even born at all, but I went many years ago. I can't tell you because I didn't tell you how old I am, but yeah, I went a long time ago. I went to Port-au-Prince in Jacmel. I went a long time ago. Where are you from? What city are you from?
Eating.
Port-au-Prince.
That's the country. Do you know what city?
Port-au-Prince.
Port-au-Prince? Oh, okay. Okay. So do you remember any Haitian words?
Bonjour.
Oh, you know more than that. Come
Yeah.
I don't want to.
You don't want to? All right. Well, what do you want to talk about?
I don't feel like to. So,
Jonathan, sit up. What do you want to talk about, buddy? Say whatever you want.
Don't blow bubbles out.
What do you want to talk about being a big brother?
Little brother.
Yeah. Okay, let's clarify. Little brother.
See how it is? Easy.
Oh, I understand. What do you think about being a little brother there?
I'm good.
You like it?
Mhm.
Are you enjoying having your parents be around you? And take care of you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So what are you guys hoping to do this summer now that you're going to be home and school is technically out, although it was out before with the pandemic? What are you guys going to do this summer?
Pool. The
Got a,
beach.
what about you, Aiden?
Summer camps,
Which
if
one?
they open.
John?
We're not sure because they're not open yet, right?
Most of the camps are closing for the summer.
Right. Yeah. So you guys got to figure out your own fun stuff to do this summer, huh?
We're going to the beach next weekend.
We're going to the beach on my birthday.
Nice. Which one?
Emerald Isle.
That's a good one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you guys talking to me, Jonathan and Aiden. And I'm really proud of you guys for being brothers and showing love towards one another. And I thank you guys, thank the Quicks for your time as well. So appreciate you guys so much.
Take care.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.